Welcome to the 6th episode of the Reality Transurfing Fundamentals Series. Today, we journey into one of the most liberating and transformative principles in reality transurfing, the Transurfing Rule. Give yourself permission to be yourself and allow others to do the same. Imagine, for a moment, a world where you no longer feel the need to compare, compete, or conform. A world where you are free to express your true self without apology or fear of rejection. This is not a distant dream, but a reality you can begin to create right now by embracing the Transurfing Rule, the prison of external standards. Let's start by understanding the challenge most of us face. From the moment we're born, we are surrounded by pendulums, collective energy structures that set the rules, standards, and expectations for how we should think, behave, and even feel. These rules are everywhere. In families, schools, workplaces, on social media, and in the countless voices that tell us who we should be. Be like me. Do as I do. Meet these standards to be worthy. Success means following this path. You must change yourself to be accepted. These messages begin early. A child shows enthusiasm for art, but is told that artists don't make money and is pushed toward more practical pursuits. A teenager expresses unconventional ideas and is labeled as weird or difficult. A young adult chooses a career path that doesn't align with family expectations and faces disappointment, criticism, or withdrawal of support. Each of these moments shapes us, teaching us that who we naturally are isn't quite right, isn't quite enough. As we grow, we absorb these messages. We learn to compare ourselves to others, to compete for approval, and to conform to what's expected. We chase after someone else's ideal, hoping for acceptance, only to find ourselves anxious, dissatisfied, and disconnected from our true path. The more we try to fit in, the more we lose our individuality and creative power. The pendulum's rule is a trap. It promises belonging, but delivers only frustration and emptiness. Consider how pervasive this programming is. In school, we're taught to sit still, raise our hands, and regurgitate information in prescribed ways. Those who learn differently or think outside the box are often labeled as problematic. In the workplace, we're expected to dress a certain way, speak a certain way, and climb a predefined ladder of success. Social media amplifies this pressure exponentially, presenting curated lives that seem perfect, making us feel inadequate by comparison. The cost of this conformity is enormous. We develop what psychologists call the false self, a mask we wear to gain acceptance and avoid rejection. This mask becomes so familiar that we forget who we really are beneath it. We make choices based on what we think we should want rather than what we actually desire. We pursue careers that look good on paper but leave us feeling empty. We enter relationships with people who match our mask rather than our authentic self. We accumulate achievements that mean nothing to us personally, all in service of meeting external standards. The revolutionary alternative. But there is another way. The Transurfing Rule offers a radical alternative. Discard the pendulum's rule of do as I do and replace it with give yourself permission to be yourself and allow others to do the same. This means fully accepting yourself as you are, your strengths, your quirks, your so-called flaws, and withdrawing the expectations you project onto others. It means claiming your right to be unique and recognizing that everyone else has this same right. This rule is revolutionary because it challenges the very foundation of how most societies operate. We're taught that there's a right way and a wrong way to be human. The Transurfing Rule says there are as many right ways as there are humans. Each person is a unique expression of consciousness, with their own path, their own gifts, their own purpose. Trying to force everyone into the same mold is like trying to make all flowers bloom in the same color. It goes against the very nature of life, which thrives on diversity. The beauty of this rule is its simplicity and its completeness. It addresses both our relationship with ourselves and our relationship with others. You cannot truly give yourself permission to be yourself while demanding that others conform to your expectations. Nor can you genuinely allow others their freedom while imprisoning yourself in self-judgment. The rule creates a complete shift in how we relate to existence itself. The mirror principle in action. Why is this rule so powerful? In the transurfing model, reality is a mirror. The world reflects your relationship to it. When you accept yourself, the world accepts you. When you reject yourself, the world seems to reject you in turn. If you believe you must change to be worthy, the mirror reflects endless obstacles and dissatisfaction. When you give yourself permission to be as you are, the world relaxes, opportunities appear, and life becomes smoother. This mirror principle operates on multiple levels. On the most immediate level, people respond to your energy. When you're comfortable with yourself, others feel that comfort and respond positively. When you're anxious about being accepted, others sense that anxiety and may pull back. It's not that they're judging you, they're simply responding to the energy you're projecting. On a deeper level, the mirror principle affects how reality itself unfolds for you. When you're fighting against yourself, you create what transurfing calls excess potential, an energetic imbalance that attracts compensating forces. These forces manifest as obstacles, setbacks, and difficulties. It's as if reality itself is trying to restore balance by pushing back against your internal struggle. Conversely, when you accept yourself, you create a state of energetic balance. Without the excess potential created by self-rejection, reality flows more smoothly. Opportunities that match your authentic nature begin to appear. People who resonate with your true self enter your life. Circumstances align to support your genuine path rather than the false one you were trying to force. The futility of self-improvement culture. Trying to change yourself to fit an external standard is exhausting and futile. The more you fight with yourself, the more energy you waste, and the less you have for creating your own reality. The Transurfing Rule ends this battle. You no longer need to justify your existence or prove your worth. You simply are, and that is enough. This doesn't mean you never grow or develop. Rather, it means that growth comes from a place of self-acceptance rather than self-rejection. When you accept yourself as you are, you create a stable foundation from which natural evolution can occur. It's the difference between a plant growing toward the sun because that's its nature, versus trying to force a plant to grow in a direction it doesn't naturally want to go. The self-improvement industry often sells us the idea that we're broken and need fixing. Buy this course, read this book, attend this seminar, and finally, you'll be good enough. But this approach keeps us trapped in an endless cycle of striving and dissatisfaction. There's always another level to reach, another flaw to fix, another standard to meet. The Transurfing Rule breaks this cycle by recognizing that you're not broken, you're simply unique. Consider the energy expenditure involved in constantly trying to be someone else. Every moment you spend comparing yourself to others, criticizing yourself for not measuring up, or forcing yourself to adopt behaviors that don't feel natural, all of this drains your vital energy. This is energy that could be used for creation, for joy, for actually living your life. When you give yourself permission to be yourself, you reclaim all of this wasted energy. The power of authenticity. When you are true to yourself, you align with your unique path. The union of heart and mind, your desires and your beliefs, creates a powerful intention that shapes reality. Authenticity is the source of all creative power. When you live from your center, you become the master of your destiny. Authenticity creates what Transurfing calls outer intention, the force that actually shapes reality. When your heart's desires align with your mind's beliefs, and both are in harmony with your true nature, you create a coherent energy field that reality responds to. This is why people who are genuinely themselves often seem to have a magnetic quality. They're not trying to be anything other than what they are, and this coherence is incredibly attractive and powerful. Think about the people you most admire. Chances are, they're not the ones trying hardest to impress you or fit in. They're the ones who are unapologetically themselves. They may be quirky, unconventional, or completely different from you, but their authenticity makes them compelling. This is the power you access when you give yourself permission to be yourself. Practical application of the rule. How do you apply the Transurfing Rule? Begin by accepting yourself, warts and all. Recognize that you are a unique individual with your own path, talents, and desires. Stop trying to change yourself to fit someone else's idea of success or normality. Embrace your strengths and your imperfections. Giving yourself permission to be yourself means accepting yourself, warts and all. Try this. Stand in front of a mirror and say aloud, "I give myself permission to be myself, exactly as I am. I am enough." Notice any resistance or discomfort. Breathe through it and repeat the statement until you feel a shift, however small. This mirror exercise is powerful because it confronts you with yourself directly. Many of us avoid really looking at ourselves, not just physically, but energetically. When you stand before a mirror and declare your self-acceptance, you're likely to encounter all the voices of judgment and criticism you've internalized over the years. This is good. Let them surface. Acknowledge them. Thank them for trying to protect you, and then choose to release them. You might find specific areas of resistance. Perhaps you can accept your personality, but not your body. Or you can accept your professional self, but not your personal quirks. Notice where the resistance is strongest. These are the areas where pendulums have the deepest hooks in you. Be gentle with yourself in these areas, but persistent in reclaiming your right to be as you are. Next, allow others to be different. Withdraw your expectations and judgments about how others should behave, think, or feel. Let go of the need to control, correct, or compare. Respect the individuality and freedom of others, just as you claim it for yourself. Whenever you feel irritation or judgment towards someone, silently repeat, "I allow you to be yourself, exactly as you are." Watch how this changes your emotional state and your interactions. This practice of allowing others their freedom is often more challenging than accepting ourselves. We're so accustomed to having opinions about how others should be that releasing these judgments can feel like losing control. But consider, have your judgments ever actually changed anyone? Has your disapproval ever made someone become who you wanted them to be? More likely, it's created distance, conflict, and frustration for everyone involved. In everyday situations, ask yourself, how can I act in this situation without breaking the Transurfing Rule? This question will guide you to solutions that honor your authenticity and respect the freedom of others, dissolving conflict and inner tension. The mirror world mechanics. Let's look deeper at the mechanics of permission in the mirror world. The world is a mirror that reflects your relationship to it. If you are at war with yourself, the world will seem hostile and unyielding. If you accept yourself, the world becomes friendly and supportive. The more you insist on your own desires and claims, the stronger the magnet that attracts the opposite. When you loosen your grip, let go of the need to control, and accept yourself, the world meets you halfway. This mirror mechanism operates through what transurfing calls balanced forces. When you create excess potential through self-rejection or trying to force others to be different, balanced forces arise to restore equilibrium. These forces often manifest as the exact opposite of what you're trying to achieve. The harder you try to make others like you, the more they pull away. The more desperately you chase success, the more it eludes you. There is a paradox here. The harder you try to force the world to accept you, the more resistance you encounter. When you let go, stop demanding, and simply allow yourself to be, the world relaxes and opportunities flow to you effortlessly. This paradox confounds our logical minds, which believe that more effort equals better results. But reality operates on different principles. It responds not to force, but to harmony. When you're in harmony with yourself, accepting who you are, you create no excess potential. Without excess potential, there are no balanced forces working against you. Life flows. Think of water flowing down a mountain. It doesn't fight the rocks in its path. It flows around them, finding the path of least resistance. When you accept yourself and others, you become like water, flowing naturally along your path without creating unnecessary turbulence. Breaking free from comparison. Constantly comparing yourself to others leads to inferiority or superiority complexes. Both are traps set by pendulums. Inferiority says, I am not as good as them, I must change. Superiority says, I am better than them, they must change. Both positions create tension, conflict, and imbalance. The Transurfing Rule dissolves these comparisons. You claim your right to be unique and allow others the same right. There is no competition, only individuality. Comparison is perhaps the most insidious trap because it seems so natural and inevitable. From childhood, we're ranked, graded, and evaluated against others. We learn to measure our worth by how we stack up. But comparison is a game you can never win. There will always be someone better at something, always a new standard to meet, always another level to achieve. Moreover, comparison assumes that there's a single scale on which all humans can be measured. But this is absurd. How do you compare a poet to a mathematician, a nurturer to an adventurer, a quiet contemplative to a charismatic leader? Each person is a unique configuration of qualities, experiences, and potentials. Trying to rank them is like trying to determine whether blue is better than yellow. When you stop comparing, something miraculous happens. You begin to appreciate both your own uniqueness and that of others. Instead of seeing someone else's success as your failure, you can celebrate it as an expression of their unique path. Instead of feeling threatened by differences, you can be curious about them. The world becomes richer, more interesting, and less threatening. The profound benefits. What are the benefits of following the Transurfing Rule? First, inner freedom. You stop fighting with yourself and others. You feel lighter, more relaxed, and more at peace. No more guilt, shame, or self-rejection. No more anxiety about fitting in or being enough. This inner freedom is not just a pleasant feeling. It's a fundamental shift in how you exist in the world. When you're not constantly monitoring yourself for acceptability, when you're not constantly adjusting your behavior to meet external standards, an enormous amount of mental and emotional energy is freed up. This energy becomes available for creativity, joy, and actual living. Second, confidence. Accepting yourself builds genuine self-worth and dissolves feelings of guilt or inferiority. You no longer seek validation from others. You trust your own path and decisions. This confidence is different from arrogance or bravado. It's not about thinking you're better than others. It's about knowing you're exactly who you're meant to be. This quiet certainty is unshakable because it's not dependent on external achievements or approval. It comes from within, from the simple recognition of your right to exist as you are. Third, authentic relationships. By allowing others to be themselves, you foster deeper, more harmonious connections. Relationships become less about control and more about mutual respect. Conflict and disappointment diminish as you stop projecting expectations onto others. When you stop trying to change others, something beautiful happens. You actually begin to see them, not your projection of who they should be, but who they actually are. This clear seeing allows for genuine connection. You can appreciate others for their unique qualities rather than being frustrated by how they differ from your expectations. Finally, creative power. When you are true to yourself, you align with your unique path and unlock the energy to shape your reality. The union of heart and mind creates a powerful intention. Life becomes more synchronistic, opportunities appear, and you experience greater fulfillment. This creative power is your birthright, but it's only accessible when you're being yourself. When you're trying to be someone else, you're like a musician trying to play an instrument that doesn't suit them. But when you find your true instrument, your authentic way of being, you can create music that no one else can make. Understanding the resistance. But why do most people struggle with this rule? Society, family, and culture teach us to compare, compete, and conform. We are told that we must earn our worth by meeting external standards. This conditioning is reinforced by pendulums, which benefit from keeping people in a state of self-doubt and dependency. Pendulums, whether they're institutions, ideologies, or social groups, need adherents to survive. They need people to adopt their rules, their values, their ways of being. A pendulum that said, "Be yourself," would quickly lose its power because people would stop feeding it their energy. So pendulums consistently promote messages of inadequacy and the need to change to meet their standards. Many fear that if they show their true selves, they will be rejected, ridiculed, or abandoned. This fear keeps people locked in masks and roles that are not their own. Years of internalized criticism create a habit of self-judgment. The inner critic becomes a constant companion, undermining confidence and authenticity. And trying to control others, circumstances, or even one's own feelings is a futile effort that only creates more tension and disappointment. The Transurfing Rule invites you to surrender control and trust the process of life. This fear of rejection is primal. As social beings, we're wired to seek belonging. In our ancestral past, rejection from the tribe could mean death. This survival mechanism is still active, making us hypersensitive to any threat of social exclusion. But in modern times, this mechanism often works against us, keeping us trapped in inauthentic patterns that actually prevent the deep belonging we seek. The irony is that the masks we wear to avoid rejection actually create distance between us and others. How can someone truly accept you when they don't know who you really are? How can you feel genuine belonging when you're constantly performing a role? The very strategy we use to ensure acceptance ensures that we never feel truly accepted. Practical strategies for transformation. So how do you overcome these barriers? Practice mindful awareness. Regularly check in with yourself. Am I being true to myself right now? Notice when you slip into comparison, self-judgment, or the urge to control others. Gently bring yourself back to the Transurfing Rule. This awareness practice is crucial because much of our inauthentic behavior is unconscious. We've been doing it so long that it feels natural. You might not even notice when you're adjusting your opinion to match the group, censoring your enthusiasm to appear cool, or hiding your true feelings to avoid conflict. Awareness is the first step to reclaiming your authenticity. Practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a friend. When you make mistakes, remind yourself, I am learning. I am allowed to be imperfect. Self-compassion is not self-indulgence. It's the recognition that you're human, that growth is a process, and that beating yourself up for imperfection only creates more suffering. When you're compassionate with yourself, you create an inner environment where authentic expression feels safe. Celebrate your uniqueness. Make a list of your unique qualities, talents, and passions. Reflect on how your individuality has enriched your life and the lives of others. This celebration is important because we're often taught to downplay our uniqueness, to not stand out too much. But your uniqueness is not a flaw to be hidden. It's your gift to the world. What makes you different is what makes you valuable. The world doesn't need another copy of someone else. It needs the original you. Release the need for approval. Notice when you seek validation from others. Remind yourself, my worth is inherent. I do not need to earn it. The need for approval is like a drug. The more you get, the more you need. And like any addiction, it keeps you trapped in patterns that don't serve you. When you release this need, you discover that your worth was never dependent on others' opinions. It was always there, waiting for you to recognize it. Real-life applications. Let's consider some real-life examples. At work, instead of comparing your progress to a colleague's or feeling pressured to adopt someone else's style, focus on your own strengths and unique contributions. If you're criticized for being different, remember, innovation comes from those who dare to break the mold. Consider Sarah, a marketing manager who always felt inadequate because she wasn't as outgoing as her colleagues. She forced herself to network aggressively and speak up in meetings, even though it drained her. When she discovered the Transurfing Rule, she gave herself permission to work in her natural style, building deep one-on-one relationships and contributing thoughtful written proposals. Her performance improved dramatically, and she found a niche where her introverted qualities were actually advantages. In relationships, let go of the need to change or fix your partner, friends, or family. Accept them as they are and express your own needs honestly and respectfully. Relationships flourish when both parties feel free to be themselves. Think of Michael, who spent years trying to get his partner to be more ambitious, more social, more like him. This created constant conflict and resentment. When he began practicing the Transurfing Rule, he stopped trying to change her and started appreciating her calm, grounded nature. She, feeling accepted, naturally became more open to new experiences. Their relationship transformed from a battlefield to a sanctuary. With yourself, when self-criticism arises, remind yourself that you are not here to meet anyone else's standards. You are here to live your unique life. Every time you choose authenticity over conformity, you strengthen your creative power. Consider every area of your life. How you dress. Are you wearing what makes you feel good or what you think others expect? How you spend your time. Are you pursuing activities that genuinely interest you or ones that look good to others? How you express yourself. Are you sharing your true thoughts and feelings or censoring yourself to avoid judgment? The ripple effect of authenticity. There is a ripple effect. When you live by the Transurfing Rule, you become a model of authenticity for others. You give them silent permission to be themselves too. This creates a ripple effect of acceptance, freedom, and creativity in your environment. This ripple effect is powerful because most people are waiting for permission to be themselves. When they see you doing it, not perfectly but genuinely, it awakens something in them. They realize that maybe, just maybe, they could do it too. Your authenticity becomes a catalyst for others' freedom. You might notice this in small ways at first. A colleague starts sharing more of their true personality. A friend admits to interests they previously hid. Family members begin expressing opinions they used to suppress. Your authenticity creates a field of permission around you where others feel safe to be real. This doesn't mean everyone will respond positively. Some people are so invested in their masks that your authenticity will threaten them. They might criticize, pull away, or try to pressure you back into conformity. This is okay. The Transurfing Rule includes allowing them to have their reactions. You're not responsible for making everyone comfortable with your authenticity. The dignity of kings. In the Transurfing texts, Vadim Zeland calls the Transurfing Rule the dignity of kings. It is the mark of someone who has claimed their sovereignty, the right to shape their own destiny, free from the dictates of pendulums and external standards. This concept of sovereignty is profound. Most of us live as subjects, subject to others' opinions, subject to social rules, subject to pendulum demands. We give away our power constantly, letting external forces dictate our choices, our feelings, our very sense of self. The Transurfing Rule is about reclaiming that power. When you stop fighting yourself and others, the world stops fighting you. The mirror reflects your inner peace, and life becomes smoother, more joyful, and more abundant. A true king or queen doesn't need to prove their royalty. They simply are royal, and everyone recognizes it. Similarly, when you claim your authentic self, you don't need to justify or defend it. You simply are, and reality reorganizes itself around this fact. This is not arrogance, it's the quiet dignity of someone who knows who they are. This dignity changes how you move through the world. You stop needing to convince others of your worth. You stop defending your choices. You stop explaining yourself constantly. You make decisions from your center, not from fear of judgment. You express yourself clearly, not aggressively. You set boundaries calmly, not defensively. The foundation of true success, giving yourself permission to be yourself, is not arrogance or selfishness. It is the foundation of all true success, happiness, and fulfillment. When you allow yourself to be, you allow life to flow through you, bringing opportunities, relationships, and experiences that match your true nature. True success is not about meeting external metrics. It's about fully expressing your unique potential. When you're being yourself, success becomes inevitable because you're no longer working against your nature. You're flowing with it. Your natural talents emerge, your genuine passions guide you, and your authentic presence attracts the right opportunities. Consider how much energy is wasted in trying to succeed by being someone else. It's like trying to run a race in shoes that don't fit. You might make some progress, but you'll never reach your full potential. And you'll cause yourself unnecessary pain in the process. When you give yourself permission to be yourself, it's like finally putting on shoes that fit perfectly. Suddenly, running becomes effortless. Daily practice for transformation. Let's end with a daily practice. Each evening, reflect on your day. Where did I give myself permission to be myself? Where did I hold back, conform, or judge myself? How can I be more authentic tomorrow? This evening reflection is powerful because it builds awareness over time. You'll start to notice patterns, certain situations where you consistently abandon yourself, certain people around whom you hide your true nature. With this awareness comes choice. You can prepare for these situations, setting intentions to remain authentic even when it feels challenging. Use these affirmations to reinforce the rule: I am enough, just as I am. I honor my uniqueness and allow others to do the same. My authenticity is my gift to the world. These affirmations work best when you don't just repeat them mechanically, but really feel into them. What does it mean to be enough? How does it feel to honor your uniqueness? What gift does your authenticity bring? Let these questions deepen your practice. Visualize a world where everyone is free to be themselves. See the diversity, creativity, and harmony that arise. Feel yourself as part of this world, contributing your own unique energy. This visualization is not just fantasy, it's a preview of what's possible. When enough people embrace the Transurfing Rule, we create a different kind of society. One based on mutual respect rather than conformity. One that celebrates diversity rather than enforcing uniformity. One where each person's unique contribution is valued. As you integrate this practice, be patient with yourself. Decades of conditioning don't disappear overnight. You'll have days when you fall back into old patterns of self-judgment or trying to control others. This is normal. The key is to notice when it happens and gently return to the Transurfing Rule. Remember that giving yourself permission to be yourself is an ongoing practice, not a one-time decision. Each day, each moment offers a new opportunity to choose authenticity over conformity, self-acceptance over self-rejection, freedom over control. Notice how this rule affects different areas of your life. You might find it easier to be yourself in some contexts than others. Perhaps you're authentic with close friends, but wear a mask at work. Or you're genuine in professional settings, but hide your true self in romantic relationships. Use these observations to gradually expand your authenticity into all areas of life. Conclusion: the key to mastering reality. The Transurfing Rule is, give yourself permission to be yourself and allow others to do the same. This rule dissolves conflict, builds confidence, and unlocks your creative power. Practice self-acceptance and let go of expectations for others. Use the permission statement daily to reinforce this new way of being. Remember, you are not here to live someone else's life. You are here to be yourself. The world is waiting for what only you can offer. Your unique perspective, your individual gifts, your authentic presence. These are not luxuries or indulgences. They are necessities. The world needs you to be yourself because no one else can fill that role. Each time you choose authenticity, you not only liberate yourself, you contribute to the liberation of human consciousness itself. You become part of the solution to a world suffering from too much conformity, too much pretense, too much inauthenticity. Your courage to be yourself gives others courage. Your freedom creates more freedom in the world. The path of authenticity is not always easy, but it is always worth it. It leads to a life of genuine fulfillment, real connections, and true creative power. It leads to the discovery that you are never broken, never inadequate, never in need of fundamental change. You are always enough, always valuable, always worthy of taking up space as yourself. Claim your right, choose yourself, allow yourself to be. This is the dignity of kings and the key to mastering reality. In our next video, we'll explore the concept of excess potential, why wanting something too much actually pushes it away, and how to restore balance and flow in your reality. Until then, practice giving yourself and others permission to be authentic. Notice how this simple shift begins to transform your experience of life. Remember, reality transurfing is not about controlling reality. It's about flowing with it. And that flow begins when you stop fighting yourself and start being yourself. The world is waiting to reflect your authenticity back to you in the form of opportunities, relationships, and experiences that match who you really are. Your only job is to be yourself. Everything else follows naturally from there.